So Second Bite's all about fresh food. It's about collecting high volumes of fresh, good quality food for people that are living in disadvantaged circumstances. Well, it began with Ian Carson, who is the chairman of Second Bite now, sitting in Becco having lunch, very nice, and he saw all of the food that was left on the plate going back to the kitchen, and he called over the owner of Becco, Simon, and said, "What happens to all of this food?" And Simon said, "Well, we throw it away." And he said, "Do you have a lot of waste?" And he said, "Well, there is a fair amount some weeks, yes." And he said, "If I could find somewhere to take this food, would you have it redistributed? Would you let us take it somewhere?" And Simon said, "Well, I'll look into that, and if that's possible, yes." So that's where the idea was born from. But it really got some traction when a group of enthusiastic volunteers started to go to the Paran market and collect fresh food that was left over from the market on a Saturday, packed into boxes, taken by volunteers down to Sacred Heart Mission, where it was turned into nutritious, delicious meals. And they are delicious, I've eaten them. So where it's gone from is, me and a desk and some enthusiastic volunteers to a national organisation that moves 150 tonnes of fresh food every month, which is actually enough for 300,000 meals. And we have a fleet of 10 vans, we have 28 employees, and we have 550 active volunteers that help us, without whom we could not run. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to work out that there's this fantastic quantity of good quality fresh food that's going in the bin. And we've got 1.2 million Australians that regularly run out of food every single year and do not have enough money to buy more. That, we believe, is a huge underestimation as well. So $5.2 billion worth of food going in the bin, 1.2 million people hungry. It makes sense to put these laws in place so that we can redistribute this fantastic food and get it to people in need. So we facilitate a collection from a food donor to the community food agency. We put that all in place for them and make all of the right checks so that they never get given food that isn't good quality and isn't fresh. But by the same token, we know that that food will never be sold on. It is going directly to some of the most disadvantaged people in the country. We set that up, and then they undertake that relationship for themselves, and we're just here to help and support. And I love that model because it's dignified, it's sustainable, it enables the community to help itself as opposed to us giving handouts. I think you can do so much with leftover ingredients by putting them into some tasty stock, adding in some fresh herbs and putting in your leftover veggies, for example. I'm also a bit of a Tupperware lover, I'll be honest, Bit of a nana in me. I've got Tupperware in my fridge. So when I cooked up my veggies at the weekend, I roasted off all my veggies, I cooked everything I had so that it doesn't just sit there and then go off in the cupboard. It's now in Tupperware, in my fridge, so that when I get home, because I'm busy, I'm working, but I still want my kids to eat fresh, I can just heat that up. I can heat up those roast potatoes, I can heat up the soup, I can heat those elements up and give them to my children. And I think it's just planning ahead. If you can cook large batches, you can freeze things off, you can put them in your fridge, and you can make so much go a really long way. You can make a small amount go a long way by doing that.